following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. This is Casey's Take on Sports with sports reporter for the Dickson Post and Cheatham County Exchange, Casey Patrick. Now, a man who always has a take. Here's Casey.
How are y'all doing? I hope everybody had a good weekend. Today, I've got some takes for y'all, some important stuff I want to talk about. We're going to start off with the Titans. I'm wearing the old school retro Houston Oilers jersey. We're playing in Houston this week. We're going to start off with the Titans. We're going to move to the Tennessee Volunteers. I've got some fun stuff I want to talk about them. I'm also going to talk about Antonio Brown. I'm going to go in a little bit in depth on that. It's not going to be long, but I do want to bring it up. And then we're going to finish off the show with some local sports as usual. So all that and more coming up. Stay tuned. All right. Any of you guys that got to watch, guys or girls, excuse me, any of y'all that got to watch the Titans game on Sunday, you were treated to a very well-played game by the Tennessee Titans. Something that I said last week was the Titans, they know how to win. They know how to win, and they're doing it right now with Dante Foreman, Dontrell Hilliard, Nick Westbrook-Akine. Of course, you know, A.J. Brown's been back. That's a big part to the win against the 49ers. But these guys are starting to get healthy, and not just Derek. I think Julio sitting has gotten him healthier. I think A.J. Brown getting some time to sit has got him healthier. The offensive line is probably as healthy now as it has been all year long, which is a huge deal because the offensive line has been a very weak point of this team. The run blocking is amazing. One of the best run blocking groups in the NFL. That's not my opinion. You can see Brian Baldinger. You can go look at Dan Orlovsky. You can see them tweet anything you want to about football, and they're going to tell you that the Titans know how to run block anyway. But with Julio getting healthier, Derrick Henry it's a possibility he could play this week. I don't have a little crystal ball, so I can't tell you for sure. But there is a part of me that wants to see Derrick Henry get to 1,000 rushing yards just because I'm petty like that. I want to see Derrick Henry maybe get a few carries against Houston. And, of course, I want to see Tennessee get the win. The win on Sunday will lock in the first overall seed. And this is something that I listened to a local radio station yesterday. Actually, I watched their video on Twitter, and they had Teresa Walker on, Hall of Famer. Teresa, she knows her stuff. I think Blaine Bishop asked her, he said, that first overall seed and a bye has kind of been it hasn't always been the best thing for some teams. And while the Chiefs, he said that the Chiefs were the only team with the bye ever to win the Super Bowl, which that's kind of a nutty stat. And I get the idea that some teams don't want to take that week off and some teams get out of rhythm. I don't care about any of that with the Titans. I don't. And it's not because Vrabel's like 8-0 coming off buys. It's because the Titans are beaten down. They're getting healthier. They're getting healthier, and thank God for it if you're a Titans fan. But it's been all year long, something, this, that, the other, whatever. One more week to allow Derrick Henry to fully get back to, or at least the closest back to Derrick Henry form that we're used to. One more week for A.J. Brown, whatever he's got to feel better. He's got 12 different injuries. His chest has been bothering him this year. Julio Jones, one more week for him just to get those legs rested. All of that, I think that's why, if you're a Titans fan, you want the first round bye. Like I said, I know there's been a lot of discussions going back and forth whether or not it's worth it, whether or not it's good, whatever. end of the day, it's not like any of us can choose what we have. So, but personally, I hope the Titans, I hope they go into Houston. I hope they have a good game. I hope they played like they did against Miami. You don't have to play well against Houston, to defeat the Texans. You don't have to be the best team that you've been all year long. You just have to be a halfway decent team. They don't have a lot of talent. I think the Titans can go in there, get the win, get that first overall bye, and get that week off. Lord knows these boys need it. Let's go on to the next take. Okay, now this segment, this take is about the Tennessee Volunteers and officials. Let me start by saying, on no planet or in no reality should the Tennessee Volunteers have been in any type of position to win that game at the Music City Bowl. The defense gave up like 8,000 yards passing. The run defense wasn't bad, but that's because Purdue stopped running it in like the second quarter and just started throwing it all over the yard because they did legitimately throw for like 600 passing yards. Tennessee, Heupel made a lot of decisions I don't necessarily agree with as far as clock management and plays in certain aspects. I'm not saying that the Tennessee Volunteers deserve to win the Music City Bowl. What I am saying is there is a never-ending battle with the officials when it comes to Tennessee football. And as a Tennessee fan, it's not that, and I tweeted this out the other day. Follow me. It's down here on the bottom at CVP51 on Twitter. I like to engage in intelligent conversations. You can have a different aspect than me or opinion. It doesn't bother me. I like to talk. I like to discuss things. And this is what I said on Twitter. I said, I'm not really mad about losing that game because I'm really not. It's the Music City Bowl. Who honestly cares? I mean, you've got some trophy that's got Nashville on it, whatever. Tennessee owns this state anyway. And to me, I don't care about that game, but I was there. I watched the Ole Miss game. I've seen so many different opportunities. That the Alabama game I watched, there were so many, and the Vols did not deserve to win that game either, or the Ole Miss game for that matter. But when you look at some of the calls that have been made, it's just kind of hard to what's the word? It's kind of hard to just sit there and watch it sometimes because it almost feels as though there is an agenda or somebody's got something going on behind the scenes where I just can't believe that officials are this bad. Jalen Wright was denied a touchdown. I mean, he clearly put the ball over the line. And I'm not the only person that feels that way. Am I a biased Tennessee fan? Absolutely. Is Peter Burns? No. Peter Burns, he talked about it. Now, Paul Feinbaum went to Tennessee, and of course, some people might think he's biased, but he hates Tennessee just as much as any other talking head, as usual, on TV. But even Paul Feinbaum said that game was a win in his book for Tennessee. You can go back and you can look at the tweets from past players that didn't play at Tennessee. You can look at people that didn't have a dog in the fight, and a lot of folks felt like Tennessee got the raw end of the deal, and that's because they did. And that's not the first time that's happened. Of course, that long touchdown that Purdue had to the tight end, he was wrapped up by three guys near the sideline, and they kind of let him go, and he ran off for a touchdown. Again, that's on Tennessee's defense, whatever, that's fine. But I remember earlier this year, a guy in an Ole Miss jersey was called down for forward progress. I don't want to hear those words again. If you're a Tennessee fan, you don't want to hear the words forward progress ever again. And then Heupel made jokes about the officials coming up to him and saying, hey, we need to do something about fake injuries. It just seems like everything this year from a call aspect or a referee aspect has just not gone Tennessee's way. And I can deal with one or two, three bad calls. It's the SEC. I'm a big basketball fan. I see bad calls all the time. This is my livelihood. I get paid to watch sports. I see bad calls. Trust me. But as a fan watching Tennessee play, it just seems like it's really redundant and over and over and over again. It's another call, and I remember the moment of shock when they said that it wasn't a touchdown the other day against Purdue when Jalen Wright clearly had the ball over the line. The whistle was not blown before the fact. You can go back and watch the video. The whistle was blown as the ball was going over the line. Now the officials got together and they said that they determined that forward progress was stopped before the whistle was blown. And then somebody else said that you can't actually review forward progress. Well, that's wrong. Yeah, you can. Terry McCauley, who should know the rules, was very blatantly wrong. And you can go through the book if you want to, the rule book. It shows you that forward progress is a call that can be changed. It can be reviewed. So a lot of confusion. If you're a Tennessee Vols fan, I'm just gonna tell you this is the best piece of advice, and this is what I've done. I took my blood pressure pills. I went to bed. I'm over it. I don't care about it, but it's been a long battle with referees this year. Hopefully next year we get some things figured out. That is my take on that, even though I won't be done. I'm sure I have plenty more to say, but that's my take on the referees and the Tennessee Volunteers. Let's move on to Antonio Brown. I like the music. My man JP Play it. He just figured out some music for me. I like it. Sounds good. Now, as far as my third take, this is something that I thought was important. I don't know who to give credit to, but I saw a tweet last night, and this is kind of where this whole thought process come from. Antonio Brown, we saw him run off the field. I know at first, and even I'm just as guilty of this as anybody else. I know at first it's really easy to make jokes, and it's really easy to point out the mistakes that Antonio Brown has gone through. But honestly, I think something is wrong with Antonio. I think mentally. Now, is he making mistakes? Yes. Has he done things that are bad things? Absolutely. I'm not defending his actions, but I will defend the fact that this man may have some serious issues. And I have fought depression very recently, and I know a lot of people out here have. And ever since COVID, I think it's become more of a widespread issue. Mental health in general is important, but mental health among athletes is also important. Something is wrong with Antonio Brown. I don't know what it is. I don't have any college degree, much less a psychology one. But Antonio I believe Antonio has some issues. And I get it. Hey, the first thing that comes out, people want to put their memes up or Photoshop Antonio running off the field with his hands up. That's fine. I kind of get that. It is easier to make a joke, but if we're going to sit here and we're going to think about it, let's try to use our brain a little bit. Antonio's obviously he's got some issues, and as much as I do want to sit here and say, he's an idiot running off the field, blah, 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 this and that, I don't know what's going through his head. And I think this is a pretty good reminder, and I think this is a good opportunity for everybody to kind of take a step back and say, and not just for Antonio Brown, but just in life. I mean, sometimes people are going through things that it's hard to really describe or understand. And it's okay that you don't know or understand what other people are going through. That doesn't mean that they should be made fun of. I'm going to do my best not to make fun of Antonio Brown. I think I'm kind of over that part of this whole process. But I do want people out there to remember him as a human. He's a person just like any of us. We all wake up. It's the same old stuff people have been saying forever. We all put our pants on the same way. We all go to work. Antonio Brown's job is a much higher paying job, but of course that's neither here nor there. But there are differences between us. But let's try to keep humanity in it. Antonio Brown's got some problems. I hate it for him. I wish things didn't go down the way they did. But looking at it from a competitive aspect, I think the Buccaneers will be fine. Antonio Brown's a great receiver, don't get me wrong, but Rashad Perriman's been playing well lately. They've got another young man whose name just slipped my mind. Of course, Mike Evans. Chris Godwin is hurt, but Mike Evans, who stays hurt, is usually out there. I think they've got some weapons. I think they'll be okay. But Antonio Brown, there's no way on God's green earth you're watching this podcast, but go out there and get you some help. Go talk to somebody. And if you're somebody else, you've got problems, don't be afraid to reach out. There are a lot of, hotlines you can call and talk to somebody. If you have something that's going on, reach out. Yeah, this world's kind of changing to the point where it's okay to bring stuff up like this. It's okay to talk about it. And I wish Antonio would. I wish Antonio would talk to somebody about it. If you're out there and you're struggling with something, whether you're a star wide receiver or a teacher or a politician or a sports writer, whatever, if you're going through something, reach out, talk to somebody. Somebody out there will listen. Somebody out there will try to do what they can to help. That's all I wanted to say about Antonio Brown. Let's get on to the last take, some local high school sports. All right. Last week we had here in town in Dickson and Cheatham, there were some Christmas tournaments. I know Sycamore, Harpeth, and Cheatham all went out to Good Pasture for a Christmas tournament. Dickson County went to Hickman County for a tournament, although the boys wound up not being able to go because of COVID. Creekwood was at a tournament somewhere. I think they played a team from Alabama or something like that. I don't know. Everybody's playing everywhere. Something's going on every day, everywhere, every sport. Everybody's doing something. But this week, Dickson County is going to travel to Waverly on Tuesday. They're going to travel to Northeast on Friday. Creekwood hosted Summertown on Monday night. They're going to go to Harpeth on Tuesday night. They're going to host Harpeth on Tuesday night. And then Friday, they're traveling to Greenbrier. I hate that drive. If you're in Dickson and you go to Greenbrier, I hate that drive. It's a wonderful school. I haven't been out there in a long time. They got good folks there. I don't have an issue with the Greenbrier area, but the drive from here to there is awful. I'm probably not going to be there on Friday. Let's see. Now moving over to Cheatham. Cheatham County played. They hosted West Creek on Monday. Tuesday, they're going to Montgomery Central. Thursday, they're going to host White House. Harpeth, of course, Tuesday, their only game of the week. They're going to Creekwood. That's probably one that I'll be at. And then Sycamore, Tuesday versus Greenbrier. So Sycamore is going to host Greenbrier on Tuesday. That's all the basketball schedule stuff I could find. Of course, bowling is still coming up January 10th. I know I talked about this last week. January 10th in Columbia at 10 Pin Alley. I know both bowling teams, Creekwood and Dickson. Creekwood and Dixon's boys are going. Creekwood's girls are going. I know all of those young men and women are currently getting ready to go out there and battle for a region title and hopefully a sectional spot. And good luck to all of them. Of course, wrestling's going on now too. I don't have much information on wrestling. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else is going on. Baseball and softball never quits. I know they've been out there practicing so far. Let's see. I believe that's about all I've got. I tried to write down. I've got my notepad here in front of me. I tried to write down everything for local high school sports. We've got a lot coming up. Basketball's about to hit second gear. Of course, bowling playoffs coming in late January. Those are huge for me personally. And then we got professional sports. We got college sports. We got college football championship next Monday. If you find me on Twitter, let me know. Let me know who do you think is going to win, Alabama, Georgia. Should be a fun rematch. I hope it's a fun rematch. We're going to be forced to watch the game. It might as well be a good one. Ivan, in case you're watching, I hope Georgia and Alabama both lose. But that's coming up next Monday. I'm trying to think. I believe that's it. We've gone through all my takes today. The Titans are going to be okay. First seed. Everybody's going to get healthy. Playoffs are going to be fun. Vols, fighting with the refs. Antonio Brown, get healthy. That's all my takes. Thanks for coming today, guys. Make sure you keep your eyes out and tuned and ready for the next show next week. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
This has been Casey's Take on Sports with sports reporter for the Dickson Post and Cheatham County Exchange, Casey Patrick. Follow him on Twitter at CVP51 and find him online at mainstreetpreps.com.